The next person, and that is Garima. What is interesting in this presentation, since we've come from the human resource in health first presentation, is that we are also now moving to some of the other workforce groups, and Garima is going to tell us about functionality and effectiveness of community health workers and evaluation of the ASHA program. So Garima, please.
Thank you, sir.
She's working with the National Health Systems Resource Center, and so I think this is a very important study which is just being reported.
I would be presenting the findings of the ASHA evaluation, which was conducted in 8 states. The presentation would focus on determinants of the functionality and effectiveness of the ASHA program. To give a brief background, ASHAs are women volunteers which are selected by the community to work, who are deployed and trained to work in their own villages and improving the health status of the community. The program was first launched in 18 high-focus states in 2005 and soon became the most visible face of the NRHM at the ground level. It was then extended to the other non-high-focus and states and UTs in 2008 and 9, and today it exists in about 31 states and UTs. ASHA guidelines were brought into being in 2006, which outlined the 3 critical roles of the ASHAs of being a facilitator, a service provider, and an activist. These guidelines were, however, adapted by the states to suit their context and to see how, and they're based on their understanding of the roles of the ASHAs, which in turn affected the status of training and the support structure set up in the states. So basically, when we look at the presentation, we would be seeing how the perspectives of the program managers affected the rollout of the ASHA program in the states and how it affected the outcomes of the program. Evaluation was based on realistic approach that we tried to look at what components work in what context and up to what extent. The 8 states selected were of very diversified context. We didn't go for the 8 high-focus states. States were selected based on their involvement in the program with NGOs and the status of the program at the time of evaluation. Evaluation was conducted between the year 2009 and 10. 2 districts were selected in every state, and the evaluation was divided into 3 phases. Phase 1 was a qualitative phase where all the processes were mapped and stakeholders were interviewed from the state level up to the block level, who were involved in the ASHA program implementation in the state. Phase 2 was a quantitative sample survey which interviewed about 100 ASHAs, 100 Anganwadi workers, 100 PRI members, 25 ANMs, and about 600 service users of the ASHA in every district. The category of these service users were 2. Service user A were the mothers with children of between 0 to 6 months of age. Service users B were the mothers with children who had any episode of illness in last 1 month and between the age group of 6 months to 2 years of age. In the 3rd phase of the evaluation, the findings of the evaluations were discussed with the program managers to build consensus on the recommendations. The key findings of the evaluation, if we look at the support structures, it was available at all 4 levels. As the guidelines envisage, the support structures should be at the state level, at the district level, at the block and the sub-block level. At all 4 levels was available in Assam and Rajasthan. Rajasthan came up in 2009 at the time when evaluation was just beginning. Up to the block level was available in Orissa and Bihar. In Bihar, the process of implementing the support structures started when the evaluation was underway. Up to the district level at the time of survey was available in Jharkhand, where if you look at the non-high focus, it's only available at the state level. A brief profile of the ASHAs, we find that most of the ASHAs are between the younger age group of 25 to 35 years in 60 to 70% of the cases, except for Kerala, where about 65% of the ASHAs were from the age group of 36 years and above. And most of them belong to a family, low socio-economic background with the family income of less than 3,000 rupees per month, as reported by majority of the ASHAs across states, except for Assam, where it was 49%. In terms of educational qualifications, most of the ASHAs were middle school pass or secondary school pass. This is not a surprising finding because the guidelines stated that the selection criteria should be 8th class pass. However, we see that there was some education relaxations that was done in Andhra Pradesh, Jharkhand and Orissa, where primary schools ASHAs were also selected in areas of low literacy levels and difficult areas. On the other hand, Kerala had about 11% ASHAs who were graduates or postgraduates. The payment systems also varied across states in the terms of how robust the mechanism was. It was a performance-based mechanism adopted by all the states. However, a blended payment system is seen in Rajasthan, where a fixed amount of rupees 950 per month was given. But this is owing to the context that in Rajasthan, Anganwadi helpers were later transformed into the Ashas, and they were receiving their amounts from the WCD department. However, in West Bengal, if we see, though there was a performance-based incentive system at the time of evaluation, but overall every Asha was getting a standard 800 rupees per month, calculated on the basis of number of cases she would encounter in the field. If you look at the take-home amount of the Ashas, we find that most of the Ashas are earning between 500 rupees to 1,000 rupees per month across all states except for Andhra Pradesh, Bihar, and Jharkhand, where a majority was below this line. The training, as per the national guideline, Ashas were supposed to be trained for 23 days in the first year of their selection, followed by 12 days of refresher to be done in every following year. In total, about 7 modules have been developed for the Ashas training. However, the module 6 and 7 was rolled out only in the later part of the 2010. So at the time of the evaluation, it was basically module 1 to 5, of which module 1 to 4 are basically knowledge-based modules with very little skills being imparted to the Ashas, while module 5 was a leadership and coordination skill development module. So, since the evaluation was done 4 years after the launch of the Asha program, we expected a higher coverage, and we got this in all the states. Most of the Ashas were trained for more than 16 days, except for in Bihar and Jharkhand, where 92 to 97% of the Ashas were not even trained for up to 16 days. In terms of explaining the coverage here, I would try to bring it to you that we line listed the intended potential beneficiaries in the coverage areas of the Ashas, and we asked the questions of how many of them have received services from the Asha. So we find that the coverage of service user A, which was a mother between 0 to 6 months of the child, was highest in higher in high-focus states as compared to the service user B coverage. However, the reverse was true in the non-high-focus states. The reasons for this low coverage could be geographic dispersion, social barriers, inability of Ashas to respond to the felt needs of the community owing to limited skills and support, little understanding of the Asha of the necessity of the universal care, as she is a voluntary worker, so she would do what is easier for her to do. And specifically, if you look at the example of Bihar, 73% was a coverage in service user A, while it was 45% for service user B. Ashas do a whole range of tasks. Everything is just being allotted down to the Asha level. But we found that on a self-reported basis, counseling of women on all aspects of pregnancy, escort function, and promotion and coordination of immunization were the main tasks done by the Asha across the board, followed by visiting newborns and household visits. The reasons for these 3 most successful tasks could be the incentivization. JSY and immunization incentive are the most regularly received incentives by the Ashas. They are also the most supervised elements of the program. Ashas are routinely asked, how many did you escort, what is the percentage of immunization in your village? And it also requires relatively little knowledge or skills. However, Ashas are also doing tasks for which they are not incentivized. This is evident in the community mobilization. Ashas were active on water and sanitation activities, ensuring services for Anganwadi and A&M services, adult and women education, mobilization against domestic violence, etc. To explain the functionality and effectiveness, we take functionality as a resultant of the way the expectations of the program managers interact with the support of the program in terms of payments and monitoring, and effectiveness, how it interacts, how it is a response of functionality interaction with the skills and the supply side arrangements. I would like to explain this with this example where a child with diarrhea had received ORS as an effectiveness. We see that the functionality of Ashas was pretty high across all the states. It was over 70%, where percentage of children who had diarrhea their mothers were approaching Ashas, and they were either referred or got ORS from the Asha. However, the effectiveness of the percentage of user B who finally got ORS for the treatment of the child was significantly low, in the range of 30 to 50% in most of the states except Kerala, Orissa, and Andhra Pradesh. The reasons for this, if high functionality not converting into high effectiveness, could be the limited skill sets, limited systems response in terms of how many ASHAs had ORS in their drug kit. Did they know the correct steps of making ORS at home if the packet was not available? Out of the findings of the evaluation, the three perspectives emerged. Some of the states subscribed to the perspective that ASHA as a link worker should only generate demand. Others thought that it should be a community level care provider, should provide care for some limited illnesses. In this, she would also work as a link worker and a mobilizer to increase the access of services. Others believe that she should only be an activist and should mobilize communities for the healthcare entitlements. These perspectives, however, now resulted in the level of support structures and full-time training structures that were implemented in the state. What was the quality and the skill set in their training that was imparted to them, the levels of NGO involvement in the program, and the provision of drug kits and regular payments. Do you have time?
Just 1 minute.
Okay, then I'll skip this. Coming to the program status, we conclude that Orissa was the most responsive and effective state in terms of the ASHA program because they adhere to the theory as outlined by the guidelines that they were looking at ASHAs to provide all three functions of facilitator, service provider, as well as an activist. While in West Bengal and Assam, the states were functional but needed more inputs to be effective. ASHAs were majorly doing activism and facilitator role, but there was a streak of service provider coming in. While in other states like Rajasthan, Kerala, AP, Bihar, and Jharkhand, they need to understand ASHA should be more than just a demand generation. This is a window of opportunity lost, as all three roles are important and complementary in nature. Prioritization of only facilitator role fails to make full use of the ASHA's potential. There were several recommendations also given based on the state-specific situations. I will just bring out the key recommendations. First was the states need to reiterate the ASHA's role. The 4 activities that she should be doing: home visits, attending VHNDs, periodic visits to health facilities, and conducting village-level meetings. We need to build on their skills on various areas and to move on to the status of certification and career progression for the ASHA program. Need emphasis to increase the reach to marginalized sections, need to increase the activist dimensions in the program, and thus need to build the support structures in the program. Performance monitoring. After 5 years of the program, none of these states had any system of monitoring the performance of the ASHAs per se. We need to develop this to identify the poor performing ASHAs and support them in improving their performance, and ensuring training of VHSC members and building ASHA's capacity, as she is the voice of the community after all. Thank you.
Before you start, 2 questions. If any of you would like to raise, again we'll keep the answers for the end. Anybody would like? It's a very interesting, comprehensive sort of study. I'm sure she's got lots more of findings, but this was a good overview. Okay, we'll come. Okay. Yes.
What about the quality of training of these ASHAs? Because 6 modules is regarding leadership skills. Because those who are trained are grassroots workers of health system. They are teaching leadership skills to the ASHAs. Then I have some queries about the quality of training regarding.
You can answer it on that later. Okay. One more question. There. Sure. Who's it? There.
I would also like to know what is the satisfaction of the A and B group. That is a satisfaction of the service. Yeah,
the difference
social
between
auditing
A and B groups. No? Okay.